And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Solar Expanse in Fission, in our Fission all the way run. Where over the break I'm realizing I probably just need more arrays. I'm starting to reach the point where we're looking at things that need tens of thousands of tons, and an array, they're fuel efficient, don't get me wrong. I don't quite have the cargo capacity I'm thinking about. So we're going to need multiple. I suppose some of the bigger fusion ships might actually have the cargo capacity, but we're trying to do fission. Problem, right? So if we're looking at like Zeus, yeah, 20 kilotons on the Zeus. The Atlas is the one that can move asteroids, which is 10 kilotons each. We're gonna have to make up with numbers what these would do solo, basically. And we're still gonna have to run down here. We're gonna have to run down here for interstellar travel at some point. So it's going to be so tempting to pick up things like Zeus and Atlas. But yeah, on Mercury we got people, so we can now get back to doing things aggressively. So 12 more mines come online because I now have the power to the people to work them. And I've got an array in orbit. Should immediately get those back to Earth. Earth orbit. Mercury to Earth orbit. On the array. Cargo is the module with no people. And we got enough food for the moment, so I don't need to send the food back. I suppose I could be sending resources back to make arrays. What are we missing? Alloys. Yeah, mostly alloys. Got enough radioactives there for 7 more. Electronics can come from the moon. So it's mostly the alloys and the exotics. Both of which we are producing on Mercury. So grab 200 exotics. And that many alloys for the return trip. Ride the Pelican up, or ride the Magpie up in this case. Optimal's quick enough. There we go. And then up at Earth, we can use one of the older ships to bring in more of the missing things, which are probably electronics. Got more electronics, we got more exotic alloys there. I've got even alloys here. Okay, so we'll need to do a trip from Mars. Easy enough to do, or not from Mars, from Luna. When I'm gonna reign in orbit in Luna, you are to go back to Titan for more nitrogen. Oops. There you go. And then Mercury, what am I building at Mercury? Well, we're actively building a hydroponics farm. What else do I want to build at Mercury? That should get us positive. We've got the water. It's gonna make the carbon run out faster, but there's nothing I can do about that besides bringing more carbon in. More alloy production. Sure. While we got the other things going, let's run 4 more solar panels and 5 more alloy mines. And wait until those get done. Mars, I should also continue to build on Mars. We're getting a lot more power in, because I've got it split 50-50 between Mars and Mars orbit. So I think we get back to just expanding oxygen mining, get that below 25 years. Titan orbit arrived at Luna, so that's going to be more nitrogen arriving. This one I did assign to immediately drop. 2400. Another 600 tons of oxygen. And then, again, I'm going to have you just go back to Titan. I think I can do that 3 more times before I'm going to need oxygen, and that's probably where I'm going to slow down. Yeah, probably where I'm going to slow down at that point. Not surprising the solar panels got done really quickly. So now we got a lot of power on Mercury. Jupiter orbit to Earth has completed. I think that was a hydrogen resupply. One of the manual hydrogen resupplies. I'll go ahead and make up a big batch of about 12 arrays, probably for transporting things like alloy, the bigger ticket items around. So basically need a big fleet together for that. The first thing they're probably going to do is actually go run it and grab hydrogen from Jupiter, but moving towards bigger ticket items. Or bigger volume items, let's say. Hydroponic farm at Mercury done, a bunch of oxygen extractors at Mars done. Mines do build pretty fast. Spacecraft arrived. Mercury arrived at Earth. Okay. So Earth orbit should be able to begin construction of a bunch of arrays. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7 arrays under construction. Add to the 2 that I've already got there. That'll bring us up to 9. To transport of around 30k, I need 12. So I could ideally want to build another 3. Let's get the Prometheus over to the moon. I can try to bring in... Earth is not the moon king. I'm going to bring over the remaining resources. And then... Okay, so here it is. Okay, so I want you to transport... what it was, exotics... So I can actually click on the launch vehicles here, or not the launch vehicles, the spacecraft here. Won't be able to build it, but I'll show it. 150 alloys, 50 rares, 100 radioactives, and 40 electronics each. And ideally want to transport enough for 3, which I'm not going to have the cargo capacity for, unless I've got some of the stuff already in Earth orbit, so I don't have to bring it. I've got the electronics already there. Okay, so I'm just bringing the rares, the exotics and the alloys. Exotic alloys and some of the radioactives. Okay. I won't be able to bring everything in this trip, but I'll be able to bring a good chunk. That's enough for 2, and we'll be 50 fissiles short from 3. Probably should have sent the I'd have Hephaestus in orbit as well. Probably should have sent the Hephaestus. Completed research for Terratorn. So on Earth, I'm going to construct a Terratorn. They are quite expensive. We're buying the resources for them. Earth is going to be the only place I probably buy completely from scratch. Everywhere else is probably going to use in-situ resources. So I've got the radioactives. I'll have the alloys pretty quickly. The exotics will also come along relatively quickly. Okay, Luna to Earth orbit. That should be enough for 2 more to be built. And then I can send them back for the materials for the 3rd one. And then I need to bring 50 more of the radioactives over to Earth orbit. Earth orbit. By the Prometheus. 50 tons of fissiles. I might as well actually bring 150. And then 150 alloy. And we'll bring along... Well, we'll pull the cargo bay at that point with exotics. Ride the next Pelican launch. So the mission won't be very long, but we're waiting for the Pelican there. Okay. Mercury is almost done with the last alloy smelter from that previous batch. So we'll run the 5 days. Get the alloy smelter done. So now I can build 10 things at a time. We got plenty of power. Yeah, can run 10 things at a time. We got plenty of power. So I think with that, we go ahead and I just do shift build 20 metal mines and 10 alloy smelters. All the oxygen extractors that we've queued up on Mars are done. We're not below 25 years yet, so I'm going to continue building more. Luna to Earth, done. Okay. Luna orbit to Titan orbit is done. So that means I'm ready to do another nitrogen transit to Luna. Let's also set up a cyclical mission using the Kronos to bring nitrogen to orbit. So it can be picked up by other ships. So Titan orbit, because I think the Kronos is in Titan orbit. The Titan. Don't want to take anything from orbit. On Titan, we want to load nitrogen. And then I want to do... Oh, that's titanium. That's not the one we're looking for. Arguably 70 trips? 70 trips. Oh, and that's just launches. So it's actually 141 trips. So, long cyclical part. That one does have an end, unlike the ones we have grabbing hydrogen from places. Although I mostly have those ones dropping in orbit, so we've been slowly grabbing more and more hydrogen in orbit. Middle mining base on Mercury complete. Okay. First batch of 10 of those are done. Going on below 3 years on the metal. The good of the 2 remaining metal mines. On Mars. Oops, I thought we built a 10th construction equipment. That's why things aren't building on this tempo I think they were. Another rain, complete in Earth orbit. Another 2 queued up. More and more power is being shipped to Martian orbit. Now shipping over 800 power there, so enough to get a couple of the magnetosphere protectors up. Now below 25 years. That's a good place to be, I think, for the moment. So at that point, we'll probably swap back to water production. Get that below 25. Or probably actually gonna get below that one, below 50. So we should be getting much more alloys now that we've got those extra alloy foundries done. Mercury's up to 10 now, so that should... I'll want to do a shift click until the whole build per shift. 22.3. Yeah, so let's get this down below 50. And then I'll probably be looking... evaluating converting the metal to alloys. So next up is water consumption. Another rain done Earth orbit. Air torn done on Earth. Do you want to do another test batch of moving 500 people to orbit? Could very happily send another 500 to Mars, so let's do that. Queue up 5 of those habitats. Yeah, they're behind the ice mines, but we're not in super rush to get them sorted. Then the orbit here, I want to move 5 of these to Mars on one of the arrays that happens to be in orbit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll send along 100 food to make sure they're fed for the journey. Need no launch vehicles, you're in orbit already. 100 food for 500 people is almost 3 years of food. You're only going to take 6 months to get there. The other 5 are going to drop to Earth. Empty. So they're going to launch them again. Bring 500 people up to replace the ones we're shipping. Orbit, not Earth, because we're launching from Earth. Orbital payload container. 500 people on board. We'll send up 100 food with them. on the Territory. So we've got 6.7 in the Earth budget. The Territory is actually the slowest of the 3 fission ships for there and back again for reusability, but it's also the largest launch, and in theory the lowest fuel, or the highest load per fuel. Largest, most powerful launch vehicle devised, the Territory can lift thousands of tons and quickly come back to lift another payload, although still 216 days. Where 5 timing the tons, having the turnaround time. So 2.5 tons more capacity per launch, or per period of time, but it's less frequent. So you've got to make sure if you want that throughput, you got to make sure you fill it. We're going to see how much this costs to launch 900 tons. $600 tons. Okay. So yeah, so I'm definitely getting to the point where I can fill that on Earth. I should try to fill that on Earth. It's maybe a good way to think about it. Cyclical mission cannot be completed, or cannot be created because insufficient propellant of hydrogen on Titan. Okay. On Titan. Oh, there's 4 tons on Titan. Like, wait, what? I didn't see the kill. Okay, so drop some hydrogen to Titan, please. Orbital payload container. 10K. Is it going to restart up the cyclical mission, or do I have to relaunch it myself? Looks like it started to back up again. Lunar orbit arrived at Titan. So that is an array. You're going to be taking nitrogen to the moon. That's not the moon game. Oops. Not impulse. Optimal. Oh, so I currently have 3 going at the moon. Fair enough. The third one, when it comes back, should probably be the last one, because we're going to have worked through the moon's oxygen supply. Unreleased oxygen supply at that point. And I don't have another place in the universe where I want to pull oxygen from. I suppose I could probably pull it from Earth, but that's not really the point, I'm thinking. If anything, I should probably waste more oxygen on Earth, because we're low. Although we're low because we're high on CO2. At some point I might want to extract the CO2 out of Earth's atmosphere. 60, or basically 70 kilotons of CO2 probably wants to go. The old climate change wants to get reversed, yes. Although that would require me dragging metal in to do that, which we're not going to do anytime soon. Alloy smelting completed at Mercury. Lunar orbit arrived at Titan orbit. Okay, so we got another. This is the 3rd batch that I wanted to bring in. At which point we're going to swap over to a different target for gas shipments. Okay, let's have that Prometheus once again do fuel shuttling to Titan. So, Saturn, orbit, to Titan, orbit, cyclical mission, Prometheus, Saturn orbit, add hydrogen. Deliver nothing, or take nothing from the other location. There and back again. Saturn has how much hydrogen that I'm willing to transport? So 5 trips would be 4,000. So we're willing to do like 50 round trips. So I actually want to do 101, let's say. So that'll be 101. That'll be 40,000 moved. We're going through the crew on Mercury real fast. I might have to do a couple trips down here with just carbon. Yeah, 1.7k, that's not terrible. Do you want to expand glass production? I'm going to say yes. Although I don't quite have enough alloy to do it to the degree I want to. Although, is that going to be enough to stop me from trying? That's going to delay it, let's say. Let's do another 2 batches of metal mines and a batch of alloy smelters to make alloy come in even faster. Another rain finished in Earth orbit. We are trying to take that up to like 12 of them, so it's going to take a while to build them all out. Okay, Mars is building those habitats. Mercury's building up those alloys. Yeah, plenty of power on Mercury, because solar power on Mercury is just strong. Yeah, I think I'm going to add like another 10 glass makers on Mercury. That way I don't have to bring glass down. It would be very easy to bring glass, I suppose, down from Luna. Instead of shipping from elsewhere. So that's another Arraign building. The habitats are done on Mars. The alloy producers are done on Mercury. Let's get 10 silicon mines going. And then when those are done, I can run the alloy mines. I think we'll have, or the glass foundries, because I think the alloys will be made by then to build them out of them. Still want to continue mining more water. You can see we've got lots of water mines. One of the biggest industries on Mars is finding ice on Mars and underground deposits of moisture on Mars and getting it out so we can release it later. It's even bigger than the oxygen, which is still one of the bigger industries, yeah. Okay, silicon mine's done. Let's get those 10 glass makers I was thinking of. There's going to be 80 more crew. We're at the point where I need to go get more crew. Mercury wants more crew. So get me, let's say, actually build out 10 more habs. Yeah. So we're waiting for the... We got a trip back from Mars, right? With modules. I think so. Yeah. Rise 2044, March 17. So a little over a month we'll have our crew modules back. I think we'll have... We'll save the Territorn. We'll send the Magpie up with another batch of people, and we'll send 100,000 people down, or not 100,000, 1,000 people down to Mercury. Which I suppose means I need like 3 more farms. 3 more farms in Mercury. Continuing to mine more water ice. Another water ice extractor batch completed on Mars. Another rain completed in Earth orbit. We should have received that arrival on Earth, right? Or am I misreading it? Or, oh, it arrives on Mars, 2044. October, that was the launch. That was the launch, okay. Hasn't arrived at Mars yet. Hasn't arrived at Mars, so it can't come back. Yet. Fair enough. So I'm actually going to run out of workers on Mercury. Although the exoskeleton may have just given me 5% more workers, so I might be good for a while. Yeah, 5% more workers may have just saved Mercury the need to immediately get more people. Next up is carbon release. Also improve the mining efficiency, so I should be able to run a slightly higher ratio of mines to such. Years. We still want them to be faster. You're down to 20.1. Non-oxygen, water. Yep, we still got power. Yeah, probably should have done Mercury solar. Much sooner. So effective to do solar down here at Mercury. And even if I don't necessarily want to do power satellites, Mercury Fission. Giving Mercury Fission out to places wouldn't be terrible. Okay, so Earth orbit to Mars has arrived, Titan orbit to Luna. So Titan orbit to Luna is going to be a nitrogen release. And an oxygen release, although nitrogen is what arrived. We're just going to release oxygen alongside it. So we went out to go get the nitrogen to launch with the oxygen after all. Do I... And I think the answer is yes. I think I'm going to transit glass to Mercury. So I can build more power satellites. Although I don't necessarily need them right now. We had enough, obviously, on Mars. How much do I have in orbit? You can receive... how much? You don't tell me there. There is a receive limit. I can't just pump infinite into a receiver. The receive limit is the storage capacity. Okay, so no more than 2 kilo E. 2,000 power. And we're not there yet, so we can definitely ship more power in. So we can basically triple the power production on Mercury. And then all I'm missing to do that, obviously, is another 24 orbital power stations. Most of which is glass, that I can ship from the moon or build on Mercury. We're building on a Mercury at the moment as well. Oh, and there's the power station, so it's the second one. It's the cheaper one. So yeah, it's mostly glass, and we ship the alloys up from below. Okay. So I can ship not enough for 24 more, but enough for 20 in a single shipment from the moon. So let's do that. Let's have this Arraign ship an entire Arraign load of glass to Mercury orbit. Yeah, so when I clicked optimal, it jumped to the next launch window. We've missed this one. It's probably the best way to read that. We missed this one, so we're on, and it's defaulting the closest point in this one right now. If I hit optimal, it jumps to the next one, because the optimal is in the next one at this point. No need to wait that long. I can burn a little bit extra fuel. We're losing money again. Thinking around to building a Terraton here. Can I build a Terraton here? At this point, yes. So let's get one there. 53 kilotons of launch lift at Mercury. Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be real good. Once we get the alloys really moving, really humming, we'll just be able to lift whole magnetosphere generator or magnetoshield up on a single launch. Building up more housing. Oh, those have arrived. Okay, so those want to go back to Earth orbit. Riding on the Arraign. Riding empty. 5 of them. And we'll bring 100 food along. In fact, we'll bring 200 food along. Mars makes enough food that it doesn't need to hoard all the food. I don't want to wait 2 years. Let's burn some extra fuel, go faster. There we go. That gets us. I think what happened is we missed the launch window. We don't want to wait until the next launch window, so we'll pay the surcharge to go out a window. Another rain finishing on Earth. Again, I want to get like 12 of these so we can get them all together and just move 3k alloys at once to do the radiation protection. Luna arrives at Mercury orbit. So that is my glass. So I now need my alloys in orbit. And maybe chip them some glass as well. So if I want to do 24... So 20 is 2.4. Yeah. So I need another 380 glass. Mercury has that. I think we do the Magpie for the launch. Grab and... Short staffing. I guess you can't launch from the vehicle assembly bay when there's ongoing construction. Or can I? Mercury. Might just not want to let me do the click and drag. That might be what's going on. Yeah, well, that's what it looks like. Okay. Add resources. So I want 380 glass, because that's what we're missing. And then I need alloys. So it's 30 each. 30 each. So 200 would be... or 20 of them would be 600. And 40 would be adding another... or another 4 would be adding another 120. So 720. Which we happen to have, so that's convenient. On the Magpie. There we go. So then up in Mercury orbit, I can just queue out orbital power stations. Just click, 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 click. If I did the math right, I'd be able to use all of them up, and that should be another 24. And it should about saturate the power receivers at the end. Water ice extractors on Mars completing. Still got more coming. Still want to mine the ice even faster. Now, industrially, we're starting to reach the point on Mars where I probably would really like to have the ability to move asteroids around so I can start crashing asteroids into Mars. There's carbon release. So I can now start doing things like cracking the carbon on, or the CO2 on Mars into carbon and oxygen, which I'm probably going to do. And in theory, I could be taking oxygen and hydrogen and burning that to make water. Less likely to do that, although that's maybe a little tempting. Stellar mirrors come up next, and we got our production efficiency techs, I suppose. Or speed, I'm not too worried about speed. Head to crew facilities. Okay. Selene Stratos, okay, I don't need that. Hermes, Athena, or Prometheus, don't really need the... Well, we've reached the point where I don't really need the Prometheus for more cargo. Especially because it's not fuel efficient, this is just cargo. A rain 20% is tempting. Would have to run through the previous ones, obviously, to get here. No, and Cronus is 20%. And then... Nike, Sirius, Zeus. So that's the fusion ones. And that requires Nike to get to, okay. Queued up the electronics, although I'm feeling good with the electronic production rate, so I don't really need more. This is reusability. That's also max payload, although that's also going to be max fuel consumption. Condor. Not going to do that. I might eventually run down here for space elevators. Well, we'll pretend these are going to be powered by fission when we get to those. Yeah, so I think when I'm done with these ones, we're going to take the dash probably down to polynitrogen for the launch cost reductions. And then we're going to be running for... Yeah, so I think it's that at that point. Followed by... Mass Driver? Oh, I'm going to need Mass Driver to do Space Elevator. Because again, I'm gonna roleplay the... Even though the flavor text here says it's fusion, you could hypothetically power it with fission. Be horribly mass inefficient, but you could probably put it with fission. So we can actually move some asteroids around. Into space elevators. At which point then we can run for the cargo bay. And somewhere in there we've actually unlocked fission, right? Fusion. Because I think the mass launcher requires fusion engines, fusion propulsion. Yeah. Technically, I haven't built any designs for fusion ships at that point, but I think that's a long enough queue. That's the sort of queue I'm thinking of for the moment. Mars arrives at Earth orbit. So that is my crew modules returning. I'm going to drop one and immediately reorbit it with crew. So I'm going to drop one empty. I'm not going to use the most fuel-efficient launch vehicle because it's one module. I'm going to use the second most one. I'm going to use the Magpie. So you want to get back to orbit with 100 people on board. So now I have 1,000 people in orbit, so when the Arraign leaves with 1,000 people to go to Mercury, actually I have 1,000 to take with me. So, Earth orbit to Mercury. We're riding an Arraign. All 10 of them. We're gonna bring 100 food along, because the transits to Mercury are just not that long. We missed the optimal window, but as you can see, you're paying a lot to get to Mercury. You don't pay a lot to go fast. So the sensitivity on the transit window is not much, unless you're really trying to go fast. Yeah, so this is basically leave in 3 days. Arrive in 3 months, 23 days. I can work with that. And the housing in Mercury should be done just about in time for their arrival. The food production won't be, but the housing will. Mars is not producing anything. What's the water on Mars? 64.8 years. You're going to want to tune up Mars more. Below 20 years there. We want to get you below 50. Don't think I'm going to try to make that even lower. I think we're going to accept that 20-year period. Waiting for the auction. Because I need to sort out the radiation for the... Well, the quest says do radiation first. The quest says do that because IRL, you wouldn't want the radiation blowing your atmosphere off as you put the atmosphere in. The game doesn't actually blow the atmosphere off, so it's not an actual concern, so you don't have to do them in that order. You just can. Okay, let's do more water. There's our habitats on Mercury. Titan arrived in Titan orbit. Okay, we should be having that happen a lot. That's nitrogen reaching orbit, although that probably was the last one. Yeah, so we've got 78 kilotons of nitrogen in orbit. I think that... Is that 12? No, that's 8. 4 more are still under construction. Orbital power station on Mercury. More of those are done. Still more to go. We're building 2 at a time. Water ice, Mars. Don't know what's up with my voice in the moment. But yeah, rolling through that ice. Still need more to get it down to 50 years. I suppose if I'm min-maxing, I now have more workforce in various places, right? So the big places where that probably works out to being able to do more stuff is I can do stuff with like Phobos. Yeah, we got another 60 workforce effectively there. But try to move through like the metal or the carbon a little bit faster. Or the silica? At some point I do need to mine all the water off of the moon, which is still gonna, much like Mars, is gonna take a while. So another place is what? Callisto and Ganymede. Because we improved the worker efficient at Callisto. So I can put more on... We've actually got a lot of workers here. Got a lot of workers here. So there's definitely an argument to crank out more metal production here. Use those workers, mine more metal. Well, the argument against that is I think we're pretty close to power consumption. How outrageous would it be to get remote power receiver? I've got no glass here. I got no rares here, and I don't really want to bring the rares in for that. I suppose up here we're waiting for radioactive generators, yeah, so it's Phobos demos, where I still have some surplus power. I'm not going to worry about that for the moment. We'll hit those up later. Anyway, we got our more crew at Mercury. Let's get the modules back to Earth. And in this case, actually, literally back to Earth. Because I need to get the 1,000 or so people boosted back to orbit. Ride the Magpie up. Yeah. Optimal. Minimum fuel. Off you go. And I got an arraign here. I brought you in. You came in for the glass. You've dropped the glass off, so I don't need you here anymore. Unless I'm going to do a shipment of something. I'm not ready for that yet. Ooh. Here's a shipment of something that I could throw together relatively quickly. 120 days to build. No, I'm probably better off building that on the moon. Because I'm not actively building on the moon anyway. Which reminds me, I need to be getting more metal and rares to the moon, otherwise the moon's going to run out of stuff to process. Which is probably what this arraigns for. To Lutetia, please. Probably one sitting there as well. Nope. Oh, there's plenty of hydrogen in there, so we can definitely move there and back again. Okay. Let's have this arraign. These are red, the Tetragen. Probably should the Tetragen from the last launch, honestly. We'll take the exotics and a bunch of the fissiles to the moon. And then there, I'll build radioisotope generators. Yeah. And then we can ship those out to the Jupiter system, so I can make more use of these large populations out there that otherwise don't have anything to do. In the meantime, the moon has everything it needs to start radioactive generator production. So it should just crank out a few. It'll get enough for another pretty much 3, if not 4, by the time that arrives. We'll get another 4 built, and then we'll ship. Hydroponics farms finished on Mercury, so we can feed everyone. The carbon's going to start running low. Although, 22.3 years of carbon's a decent period of carbon before I need to worry too much about it. So yeah, we can get back to pretty aggressively building on Mercury again. Which I think is mostly build out hourly production. Back and forth. 20 metal, 10 alloy, 20 metal, 10 alloy, back and forth. I think that's the plan. Because again, we're going to need, for each one of those magnetosphere generators I want to make, I need 30,000 metal. So I need to make a lot of, or 30,000 alloys, which themselves are made out of metal at a pretty steep ratio. The more metal goes in per alloy than, I think it's 1.5 to 1. Metal mine, alloy smelter. That's another 30 buildings queued up there. More rain's being produced. Still haven't hit the target. I want to get below 50 years on the water mining. At which point I'll probably be tuning up alloy production. Again, my expenses are rising. Another thing I might want to shift over to is building more satellites. Got 55 in Mars. Could support 72. I'm actually arguably a habitat short on Mars. Let's get a habitat in the queue. $72, $73. How many do I... I've got that written down. Okay. So if I want to launch another 22 worth, got a Pelican. So let's do a... Of course it is one. We're going to do the click and drag to death. Okay, we'll do it from someplace else. Glass. Say to focus, we're actually going to Mars. Or the load container. I'm not launching that much. Okay, so I want to do 22 more to orbit. So that would be 110 glass. Alloys, it would be... That's a big enough number when you do mental... Or, actually, no, that's not that bad. That's 20 times 25 is 5,000. Don't actually have enough then. Okay. Oh, and no, I didn't screw up in the glass. 20 times 25, yeah, that's double 0, so it's double that. 2 times 5. Yeah. Gonna do the calculator. I think I'm doing a math error here. So, 25 times 22. So it's 550. Let's see if I can do my math right. 550, and I've got that. I can launch that. Polymers is going to be 25 times 30. That's 750. Again, we've got that. And electronics is 15 times 22, so it's 330. That can go up in a single launch, so we'll launch that orbit on the Pelican. We'll go 3 days. That then means I can queue up another 22 of these. Did I screw up something and it didn't launch enough? Or do I have to wait until they're fully... Why did the polymers not launch? Did I shoot the wrong thing up besides polymers? I forgot to swap it to from electronics to polymers, I think. I think we shouldn't shove too many electronics. Okay. Okay, so I gotta wait until the next Pelican launch. Not too bad. Okay. Now in Mars orbit, I should be able to build 22 more. So 10, 20, 22. Yeah, I think I shipped up electronics by accident instead of polymers. Or just had extra electronics in orbit, one of the two. So that'll get me maximum satellite coverage on Mars for the moment. Earth can always take more, because the capacity there includes the world government. So the sky's the limit on communication satellite value over Earth. So then the question is, how much do I want to ship to Earth to build out? The main limiting factor, I think, is actually alloys. Because I've got need for alloys for other things. Okay, I'm going to have the Hephaestus in Earth orbit. Transit to Jupiter. Yeah, not to Jupiter, to Mars. So, Earth orbit, Mars orbit. And then at Mars, I'm going to have the one that's here bring stuff to Earth orbit. Which is why I'm having the other one. Basically, I'm having them swap spots. So, add resource, add resource, add resource, add resource. We got electronics the last, and then we've got polymers, alloys. And this is the order I've got on my list, not necessarily the order they're supposed to be in. Glass. So the thing I need the most of is polymers. Yeah, the thing I need the most of is polymers. I got 1.5 thousand tons divided across 75 tons of stuff. So I can bring 20 things worth. So 600 alloys, 100 glass, 500 alloys, 300 electrons. So that is a full Hephaestus load. That is enough for another 20 in Earth orbit. So let's get that going. That seems like a reasonable transit. And the point here is I'm realizing I'm starting to run a deficit again. I should fix that. We'll see if we can fix that by the end of the stream. In fact, I should probably be ending the stream now, but I'm gonna see if I can fix that before I end the stream. Without trying to slow any of my production down, because I'm going to be expanding elsewhere. Continue expanding here. Got the crew. Got the food. Got the power. So I think the answer is yes. Up to 5 tons per day. Mars. What until happens then? Stellar mirror is done at Mars, so I can start to heat things up or cool things down. We're still going to solve the radiation problem for the artificial magnetosphere on Mars first. Orbital power station at Mercury is done. Although I've still got more queued up, so I'm still making more power. Radioisotope generators building at Luna. I have 2 here at Luna. So that means my nitrogen has arrived. Actually, 2 batches of nitrogen arrived, so let's release that. So 1 brought in the things I need to make radioisotope generators for going up to Jupiter. And we'll keep that one around until we do go up to Jupiter. We want those built, and then we'll ship them out. The other one wants to go to Letitia for the moment. So I can bring back more metals and rares. We should be launching from orbit. There should be hydrogen in orbit for the transfer. Is still going to spend more fuel than that. Habitat complete on Mars. So I've not got enough habitat space for all the people on Mars, which is good to see. And then we continue expanding water mine, although we're getting real close. Be like another 40. At least real close to my next target, where I was going to start reevaluating what we do. Earth orbit to Mars orbit. So that's the Festus arriving. The one going to Earth hasn't arrived. Oh, the one going to Earth has arrived. Here we go. So the 20 in queue at Earth. I might have to actually focus on getting more people out. I'm spending too much effort working with my people, and my expenses are going up as a side effect. I can definitely house more people places. That might be the task of next stream, is just getting more people off of Earth and elsewhere. Because apparently I let my expenses get up. We're seeing this visibly move, and that's kind of the wrong direction. Visibly moving the wrong direction. That's a good way to describe it. So yeah, we got the water going at the rate we want. We got the oxygen going at the rate we want. For the moment. So maybe that's going to be the real evaluation. I did stop expanding on Mars. The water and oxygen, or water and oxygen mining specifically. Because at least for oxygen, we're moving fast enough. That's the first of the 2 that I want to do. Yeah. Okay, so looking at the monthly balance, the communication satellites are going to help. Let's not beat around the bush. They're going to help. But I'm not building them fast enough to be continuing to expand, at least at both Mars and Mercury at this rate. I think we will continue to expand at Mercury. And we're expecting that mine to run out relatively soon. and we'll be on this lower one. We're expanding the ratio between these two on the assumption that this one runs out. Yeah, we're getting this higher and higher and higher. What if we divide this by 30k? How many days is that? So, or 30k by this. It's not that. 30k divided by 7.5, so it's about 4,000 days. So we're looking at being able to get a solar shade up every solar shade. Actually, not the solar shade, the magnetosphere protector, right, on Mars orbit. Looking to be able to get one of these up every 11 years. I think we want to go a little faster than that. Well, I want to go a little bit faster than that. Technically, that would be fast enough. For the achievement is to get Mars terraformed by 2,600. We're not going that slow. We're going faster than that. We'll have Mars terraformed by then. The question is, do I want to take that long? The answer is no. And the answer to the success pathway for that is faster. So we got improved alloy production, which is 10% more alloys, also exotics. Followed by, although technically that's only exotics, so got all the alloys at that point. Polymers, even more polymers. This one noticeably is 10% cost of all facilities. So this would drop it from 30k to 27k. So it might be worth waiting until this is done, because those are big enough ticket items that will be a noticeable price difference. Launch cost reduction, launch cost reduction, launch cost reduction. Fusion power. This is also going to give us a contract that we can complete for revenue. Spin launch to work our way up specifically for mass driver propulsion, so we can start moving some asteroids into space elevator. Because the first thing I'm probably going to do with asteroids I move is, you know, give us some space elevators, so I can, specifically I think for passenger transit. I'm probably going to still resist and still use fission, tetratons and stuff like that for launching tons of stuff. But I think one of these at Earth, just to break the transfer costs of Earth, would be useful. But even then, I'm maybe not in a rush to get this built. This is something I might procrastinate on. Same with the extended cargo. Although at that point, we're far enough in the tech tree. The big enabling ones for moving forward, I think, are the launch costs. So all the way up to here. Yeah. I think this is where we're going to put the part break in and bring this stream to a close. I've run up the deficit again, so I'm going to have to run the deficit down in the next one. Although I don't think that'll be very hard to do. The thing that ran the cost up is me building facilities and facilities and facilities. So I need to ship people. I need to build some communication satellites. Which, if I stop building facilities, is actually really easy to do. As you saw, I was able to go like, oh, well, we'll put this together, and that's 20 satellites. Here's 20 satellites. And with the food efficiency techs, we can definitely push more people to places. Not necessarily Mercury, although also as we terraform places, we can put more people there. So the moon has more space, right, from a food standpoint. So if I get enough metal to actually build out its habitats, changing nothing else, I can just put more people there. I could technically do that on Phobos and Deimos, but Deimos at least is running out of resources. Deimos will be empty in 60 years. Means I probably don't want to put more people there. We'll be fair. Phobos less so. Phobos, although the good resources, which is carbon's going to be at 50. So maybe don't put more people at Phobos. Although Phobos was probably worth building out more carbon mines. Get some silicon up there, get some glass, or get some solar panels running so I can use the people there. Maybe not put more people in Phobos. Mars. I think I'm about to start trying to terraform Mars a bit. If we can improve the food efficiency on Mars by improving the habitability, then I can put more people on Mars. And then out at Jupiter, Ganymede can take more. We can triple the population on Ganymede. I can triple the population on Callisto. And double the population on Callisto. So there's another 1,300 on, say, Ganymede, and another 1,000 on Callisto. And then try to do stuff on these places. Actually, I suppose what I've been preparing for was just to get more off of Jupiter. And Jupiter is... I'm like, it felt so slow, and now I've reached the point where it's like, wait, do I really need to do more at Jupiter? Maybe. Maybe I want to do more at Jupiter. Because again, there's more water there, there's more nitrogen there. Maybe I go farther up, right? There's other systems we haven't touched. But yeah, I think the answer going forward is more people in space, more satellites. And the satellites at the moment are probably going to round Earth. So just more and more and more satellites around Earth. That'll help a little bit. But yeah, I've been being a bit lazy with the satellites. I should probably have been a bit more proactive with the satellites. We wouldn't be running as much of a deficit. And we can always sell stuff on Earth. Right. Definitely always sell stuff on Earth. Bring more to Earth, sell more stuff. But yeah, this is where we're going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, before I get any more distracted, I'm going to try to bring the part to close so I stop rambling. I hope you've been enjoying. We've been going big on Mercury and Mars. We are at the point where I will be ready to start doing atmospheric terraforming on Mars in 16, 17 years. We obviously have to pick the budget, otherwise we're going to go bankrupt in that amount of time. Actually, well, we got, say 6.9... we got that number, and we divide by 73. Divide by 73. So we'll be bankrupt in 96 months, or about 7.5, 8 years. So yeah, if I don't solve the budget problem, we're going to go bankrupt before we deplete this oxygen deposit. On the other hand, if I solve, the money problem, that's not very hard to do. So in 16, 17 years, we're going to be ready to start terraforming Mars. And that is just get the nitrogen down here to go with that oxygen. We've got 193 kilotons of oxygen ready for release. I've got another 315 that are going to come out in 16, 17 years. Plus, we're doing a little bit of electrolysis here to turn water into hydrogen and oxygen. So then I just got to bring the nitrogen in. We bring the nitrogen in, we atmospherically terraform Mars. I have no clue how much oxygen and nitrogen that's going to require, but I'm assuming that, half a megaton of nitrogen is a good step. Or half a megaton of oxygen is a good step, seeing as we can see how much oxygen is in the Earth atmosphere. So it'll be about fourth the oxygen of Earth. I think Mars needs less because it's a smaller planet. It maybe doesn't need that much less, but we can start doing some releases and start to do some terraforming on Mars. But yeah, let me go over the schedule before I forget to do that as well. So today was Solar Expanse. Tomorrow is going to be Frostpunk 2. Since the last time I streamed Frostpunk 2 a couple days ago, I did do a little bit of testing, and I've learned that I didn't know something about the new heat mechanics. I'll talk about more when we're doing Frostpunk 2. And we'll see how well I can keep the city stable. We might end up redoing Chapter 2. We'll see how terribly it looks like when we get to the end of or redoing Chapter 1. We'll see how it looks like when we're in Chapter 2, is how I'll think about that. Wednesday, we got Factoria Prenodons. And Thursday will be Shadow Empire. Hopefully we're actually going to get a computer on Thursday. And then Friday, we'll be back to Solar Expanse. At the rate that I'm playing, I think during next stream, we'll get to actually releasing oxygen in a big way on Mars. We are going to work again on rebalancing the budget because I let it get out of control from wanting to just build. and I still will want to build, and I'm just going to have to resist because apparently, if you employ everyone, your costs are too high. Reminder, I'm streaming this live to Twitch under the username Willcall. So if you're watching live on Twitch and you want a comment responded to, now is a good opportunity to leave them so I can respond to them after I bring the recording to a close. And I'm going to be uploading the local recording to YouTube under the username Willcall100. So if you're watching later on the Twitch VOD or watching later on YouTube and you want to have a comment responded to, feel free to leave the comments on YouTube. I do try to respond to all the comments on YouTube that are at least questionary, at least sort of have words to them. I don't necessarily want to respond to all the emojis. If they're emoji comments, I don't always respond to them. Sorry. I don't know how to respond to those ones, let's say. But yeah, I try to respond to all the comments on YouTube. So until next time, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream. And as obvious, the Solaris break check ran out, so I have time to bring it to close. With that, bye for now.